Greetings and welcome back to the workshop. I hope you're all doing absolutely amazing. It's brilliant to have you here. We are back on the Rotary table, hopefully for the third and final part of this instalment. You never know. So as discussed in the last episode, I am going to open up these slots. I'm going to open up to 1/2 inch. I am all set up here. I have found the center and I'm just going to mill this out. Very nice. Just got to get the other end done. Now in the last videos, we've got lots and lots of really good comments. You know, and it just goes to show what a great community that we seem to have developed here. You know, there's been lots of tips, hints, possible history to this Rotary table by so many of you, and I thank you very much for all your comments and all your thoughts and you know, the advice. Some of it hopefully will go through as we put this together. Maybe go through some at the end. Yep, that'll do it. Right, I shall get that taken off, cleaned up, make sure there is no cast dust anywhere on it. Then we can begin assembling it. And to put it together, we're going to need the oil can. Yes, this is my oil can and it's got in some slideway oil. And I use this one, which is equivalent to the Mobile Vactra number 2 or the Shell Tonner T68. Now I've also gone out and I've got some replacement bolts for this piece, which compared to these ones, there's a lot of thinning happening there. This one's damaged. I'm not sure what's happened there, but I managed to find some replacements at my local fasteners place. They had them on the shelf in stock, ready to go. So now we can start putting this together, and obviously we're going to give everything a bit of oil. So we'll start with this. We'll put this ring back on, I think. My trusty oil can. Now I know most of this is going to squeeze out when I tighten it up, but I'd just like a little smear of protection over the lot. Got to remember which way around everything goes. Obviously these are already covered in oil. I'm actually wondering we might have to put this on a particular way. That looks better. The way it was before, these holes were out. That's better. Yes, that's better. So this literally is the reverse of how we took it apart. Trying to do this in some form of pattern. that we're not wedging it in, we're slowly taking it down a bit at a time in each place. I think we're done now. Yeah, we're all tight. Right, so that went on there. That went on there. They went on there. Yes. I'll just press them on. Okay, what I've just realised is I need to line those holes up first with that. So I'm going to bring this up and put those holes in before I press that pin into them bearings. Okay, so I've got that pressed, and one thing I've noticed is it is quite tight in there. So we'll just have to see how it is when it goes together. So I'm wondering if there's something I should have cleaned a bit more there, but I've filled it full of oil as well. So I'll just put a bit of the juice on here. So that goes in there, and as you can see, spins quite nicely now, which is a big improvement to what we had before. I'm going to say now that this oil can is terrible. So I've moved the worm away. So I need to flip it down. And get all this bit in. This is going to be lots of fun to try and line those bolts up. Looking at the information that we've got about this, this could be over 60 years old. Well, that's a good sign, isn't it? This is all freely rotating. It's a very good sign. Wasn't at the beginning, was it? Right, where's our little screw? So that screw there is to stop this having too much play. We only want a little bit of play on that. Woohoo! This is getting exciting. Right, should we flip it over? Nice. If you like what you see on the channel right now, then how's about giving this video the thumbs up and clicking the like button. Popping a comment down below. What do you think of the project so far? If you haven't already, and this is something that you do enjoy, then maybe click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be notified when we next release a video. Shall we get back to it then? So, I wasn't entirely happy, so I've taken these back apart. And what I found was, the reason it was a bit stiff still in this hole was it was catching here and here, if you can see there, on that little in between. I don't know what's happened there, but I've given that a clean up, and now it's really loose. And I noticed This shaft seemed to be stiff in here. So what I've done is I've cleaned this bit here. Hopefully that should do it. But when it was in the lathe, I noticed this end here was bent by quite a bit. 30-40 thou it was bent, and you could really see it wobbling. So I've straightened that and I've got it down to about 2 thou run out now, just by gently manipulating it. So I'm going to get it back together again, put it back in, and hopefully we've got rid of all the stiff spots. So fingers crossed.
A few moments later.
Right, so it's back together. It's a lot better than it was, but it's still got a little stiff spot, but I think we should be able to live with that. It's not like it was before. You can do it quite easy with your fingers. So we'll get this back in here and get them handles on there. That's the thing with some of these projects. It's all put it together, take it apart, put it together, take it apart, until you're happy with where you're at. Well, that is much better now. I'm much more happy with that. I've also cleaned up the end of this shaft a little bit, so hopefully this should go on a lot easier than it did before, which it did. A short one, wasn't it? Yes. Much better. Although that's still stiff to get on. That goes there. Oh yes, beautiful. So here we are. I think we can safely say that this one now is done. I think it looks absolutely amazing. I think it's turned out really well. If we think back to what it looked like when I started, you know, rusty, jammed, and now it's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's not going to look brand new. It's used. It's been abused. It's got its war wounds, and I think it should keep its war wounds. You know, I don't want it to look brand new. It's not what this was about. This was about making it functional again, and we've managed to make it functional, which is absolutely amazing. It is smooth. It does have a little stiff spot. I'm hoping that the more I use it, the more that will free up. So I'm quite chuffed with that. I'm quite happy. Everything works on it as it should. We just need to use it. So what we've worked out with the help of you guys in the comments is the little label on it says the Ministry of Supply. Now the Ministry of Supply was shut down in 1959 and was set up in World War II. So it's that old. It's at least 65 years old. At least. What could it have done in its life 65 years ago? And what's it done between there and now? Who knows? It could have made a multitude of things. It could have made many products, which is absolutely amazing. We don't need to worry that the ministry is going to knock on the door and demand we hand it over, because it was shut down in 1959. And this was probably sold on as surplus machine tools. In my hands, I will keep all the surfaces protected. They're well oiled right now as it is. We also had many fantastic comments about the operation of this rotary table and the different things. And the most important is the eccentric. So the eccentric here is an off-centered shaft. So the shaft that goes down the middle runs the worm, and it runs on the boss that's off-centered, which I showed you in episode 1, I think it was, episode 2. And it's controlled by this lock. So you unlock this lock, 2 pieces of bronze separate, and you can rotate. And the screw underneath gives it a limit of how far you can rotate it. And now we've cleaned it up, it rotates beautifully. So in this position, the worm is connected to the gear on the bottom of the table and rotates like so. Now say you get so far and you're like, oh, well, I need to move the table back. You can take the worm out and rotate the table back and put the worm back in. That is what this is for. It's not for backlash. It is for simply that. Taking the worm out, being able to rotate the table to wherever the next position is, because you have a scale along here, putting the worm back in gear, and away you go. Locking that so it's in gear. The amount of what I would call backlash in this is what we'd call 5 minutes. So it's got backlash and it's very minimal. And obviously if you're moving the table to a set position and you want to do your hole here, you could then lock the table and move the X and Y on your milling machine as you wanted, unlock the table and rotate it around. All works, everything works. That's it, it's finished, it's complete, it operates. Now all we need to do is use it. I'm extremely ecstatic that it has turned out so well and that it works so smoothly. Considering what it was like before, yeah, I'm blown away. It's turned out really well. So thank you very much to the viewer that donated this to the channel for us to do this little mini rebuild. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that's something that you have enjoyed. I've enjoyed doing it. I've enjoyed taking it apart. I've enjoyed finding out how it works. I've enjoyed the communication, the little community we've had over it. You guys giving your information of the eccentric and a bit of history on the ministry, which is brilliant. And I think that's it. That's all we can say. I can't wait to use it. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Laters.